Let's play a game to see how ridiculous the new Fast X movie was. Two truths and a lie. Guess which of these actually happened in the movie. And obviously, Fast X spoilers ahead. Is it option 1? Dom was able to beat 2 helicopters with just his SRT. 2. John Cena was able to turn a kayak into a flying jet plane. Or 3. Jason Momoa blew up the Hoover Dam. Go ahead, pause the video, type in the comments which one of these you guys think happened. And the answer is, drumroll please, all 3 of these things actually happened in the movie. This movie was fucking ridiculous, and I loved it. Here's the thing about going to a Fast and Furious movie. We know what we're gonna get. Don't go in expecting it to be this fantastic cinematography. No, you're there to watch fast cars and explosions, and that's what this movie gave us. I knew it was gonna be a bad movie, but you gotta go in expecting that and watch how ridiculous it can get just for comedy's sake. And I promise you, if you watch the movie like that, you will enjoy the fuck out of this movie because it is ridiculous. And I was wondering how they were gonna top it. Last movie, they went to outer space in a car. So I was wondering just how crazy could they get to top that? And oh boy, did they top that shit. But even though I did go into this movie expecting it to be bad, it was a little worse than I thought. It was pretty bad. And there are a couple moments in the movie where I just kind of came to reality and I remembered this used to be a franchise about racing. And now it's diverse Mission Impossible on wheels, which is still really cool. But it used to be about racing. So we got a lot to talk about. Before we get into the parts of the movie that were so bad they were good, let's talk about the parts of the movie that were so bad they were bad. The hugest negative of this movie for me would have been the horrible CGI. When you're watching a movie for nothing more than actions, explosions, and fast cars, the CGI is supposed to be fantastic. It's supposed to be top of the line, and it just wasn't. There were many moments in this movie in which I was confused whether I was watching a Fast and Furious movie or a Need for Speed video game cutscene. There were points in the movie where the CGI looked like GTA. And not like the good AI GTA that people made. I'm talking like the GTA that dropped in 2000 whatever. It's just not hidden. And there were scenes that should have been cool, but they just weren't that cool because the green screens were terrible. Not to mention I feel like they green screened a lot of stuff that they didn't actually need to green screen. And there were parts where it was just straight up CGI. Like it would be planes or cars or explosions where the whole scene would be CGI. One that really pissed me off was at the beginning of the movie where Jason Momoa is standing in front of the vault that's gone and they zoom out from him through like a car garage. The zoom out was all CGI when I feel like all they had to do was put him at the end of a garage and move the camera backwards. But they chose to CGI that, which I thought was weird and it was stupid. Another negative of this movie was fucking Vin Diesel, man. Like, I know Vin Diesel is a bad actor. We all know Vin Diesel is a bad actor. That's not a surprise to anybody. But oh my God, you can't hear him speak. There were a couple like soft moments in the movie where it wasn't like screaming or action. He was just talking to somebody being like soft and corny. And he would just be growling into it was like I needed subtitles. You really do need subtitles to understand him. He'd be talking to people, I was just about family. I was family. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this dude saying? They put subtitles on a lot of this movie. Granted, those subtitles look dumb as shit, but they should have gave some to Vin Diesel. And maybe I'm just hating on this one, but I think Michelle Rodriguez or Letty, I think she is one of the worst actresses of all time. She is terrible. I just finished watching her in the new Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out like a month ago. And I gotta see her again in this. And she is such a bad actress. Like, she's just so dry and unemotional. Like, she's Vin Diesel. She is literally the woman version of Vin Diesel. He sucks, and then she is just as bad. They're honestly perfect for each other in the movie because they are two horrible fucking actors. I never want to see either of them in a movie again. except for in the next Fast and Furious. And another actress that I just really hate is Brie Larson, and she was in this movie too. She's just not good at acting. She's always very just cold and dry. Like, I feel like there's no emotion or inflection. I don't feel like she ever does any acting. It's like she's just reading lines. It's odd. I don't like her either. She wasn't a big part in this movie, but I'm just not a fan of her as an actress. Another big negative for me in this movie was I normally really like Ludacris and Tyrese's characters. I feel like they normally go very well together and they're pretty funny, but the comedy just was not hitting. There were no good jokes in this movie. They didn't make me laugh or chuckle or anything throughout the whole movie. Like, I did do some laughing at how bad the movie was, but the comedic relief, I never really felt it. I didn't feel in this movie. And all the other ones, I laughed a couple times. Not in this one. I just did not enjoy it at all. And then they added Pete Davidson, who was also supposed to make me laugh, but didn't make me laugh there either. I don't know. I just wasn't fucking with that aspect of the movie. Now, let's talk about some of the good things that happened in this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Jason Momoa did a fantastic job in this movie. Honestly, the only good thing about this movie was Jason Momoa. That man was born to play villains. I do not understand why DC cast him as Aquaman. They should have made this man a villain. He was fantastic. He was funny. He was charismatic. He was evil. He was psychotic. He was literally everything you need from a Fast and Furious villain, or any villain really. He did it fantastically. Jason Momoa was the saving grace of this movie, hands down. And his character was just very well written. I really liked how he was always one step ahead of Dom, no matter what was going on. He was always one step ahead. He knew what was going to happen. He had the whole thing plotted out, and it went exactly to plan. And his character was a little zesty, but it worked. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of the vibes. Like, I felt like his character, it just worked well with the zest. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I fucked with it. Now, he was probably the only part of the movie that was actually good. But there were a lot of parts of the movie that were so bad that it was good. Like, if I saw this in any other movie, I would be like, what the fuck am I here for? But in a Fast and Furious movie, you're like, this is exactly what I came for. I came for some shit that's so bad, it's good. And the action scenes in this movie were more unrealistic than any movie I've seen in my entire life, than any Fast and Furious, than anything. You gotta remember, these are supposed to be normal people. These are normal street racers. They don't have superpowers, but you would not be able to fucking tell that from watching this movie. When John Cena first got introduced, it was when Dom's sister and kid were in the crib, and John Cena, you just see a person go flying across the room as if they were pushed by a superhero. And I'm sitting there like, who the fuck could this be? Who just threw this man like a damn sack of potatoes? That shit was crazy. And then obviously they cut blah, blah, blah. And we find out it's John Cena. First off, I forgot John Cena was even in this franchise. But seeing him was hilarious. His fight scene was absolutely insane. Whether it was him dodging bullets, that shit didn't make no sense. Him doing the attitude adjustment on somebody through the floor and then falling down through the floor like a superhero. Bro didn't make no goddamn sense this whole movie, but I fucked with it. He was actually my favorite character in this movie. Because even in the parts where he wasn't like fighting or anything like that, he was fucking hilarious. Like, his acting was so bad that it was hilarious. It was ridiculous. The shit was perfect. Because if you saw the last Fast and Furious, you know, he was a pretty serious guy. And now, he is nothing more than a joke. He's Peacemaker. It's honestly just Peacemaker in Fast and Furious. Speaking of John Cena, this whole movie, bro had a kayak. He had a kayak on top of his car. He brought in the plane, all that shit. Man's just kept the kayak with him. When they were in the bottom of that airplane and this man opened up the kayak, I'm thinking he's going to the bottom of the plane to get some fucking parachutes. I thought he was going to get some parachutes or some flight suits and they were going to jump out the plane and land and whatever. This man took out a mini jet. A kayak turned into a jet plane and jumped out the plane with Dom's son and flew that bitch. That was straight out of The Incredibles. I have no idea. I was honestly just flabbergasted at how crazy that scene was. They were really trying to see how nuts they could get. Speaking of which, it didn't make no goddamn sense how Dom was able to, while being shot at, hotwire a car, and then lift a car up with his own brute strength in order for it to land and slide and kill somebody else. I was watching that scene like, just how strong is this man? I was watching it, just trying to remind myself, this is supposed to be a normal human. This is not a superhero. This is a normal ass guy. And he just lifted a full car, brute strength, like it was not. I thought the other guy was about to come over and help him. No, he did that shit alone. Craziness. And then seconds after that, he picked up a car door and was blocking sniper bullets with it. A car door can't even block a regular bullet. A car door, if you hit a car door with a golf club hard enough, that bitch might break. How in the world did he block multiple sniper bullets with a goddamn car door? That shit just kept getting crazier and crazier as the movie went on. I was rocking with it, but it was starting to get a little exhausting, a little confusing. It was funny though. Like, it was very, very funny. Like at the very end where Jason Momoa has the two trucks on the dam pointed at Dom. And the two trucks are coming at him from both angles. And Dom's decision is to drive his car off the dam. Now look, these were both 2-lane streets. There's no way you can convince me that this man did not have enough room to try to drive his car past one of those trucks. I do not think it would have been difficult to do. I'm not a master driver, and I think I could have done that shit. I do not understand that scene. He just wanted to jump off. He literally just wanted to jump off that dam. That was his only goal that day. He's always wanted to jump off a dam, and that's why he did it. Because there's no way you can convince me that he thought that that would be a better idea than driving past the trucks. Honestly, he might have even had better luck getting out of his car and running past the truck. Anything except driving off the dam would have made some sense in that situation. Anything but that. Speaking of shit that didn't make a lick of sense, please tell me I'm not the only one that noticed this. The scene where John Cena sacrifices himself. He's driving in the car he made with cannons on it. Instead of shooting the cannons at the people, which honestly may not have worked in the situation he was in, but the cannons were able to point downwards and shoot in order to lift the car up. His game plan had to have been to kill himself, because there's no reason he would build those cannons to where they could aim at the ground and do that. The only reason you would do that is if you're trying to die. He wanted to die. He built that bitch to die. You can't convince me otherwise. I don't know, man. This shit, that was crazy. I know normally when I'm doing my movie reviews, I tend to talk a little bit more about the plot of the movie, but there was no plot of this movie. This movie was literally just Jason Momoa is cooking Dom, and that's it. That it was basically just that. Just Jason Momoa making Dom suffer the whole movie, which he did a great job of. And honestly, if you saw the movie, you know it ended in a cliffhanger. Because it's a 2-part movie, which I don't know. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it's a 2-part movie, I guess. And it ended with Jason Momoa blowing the dam. And Dom, I guess he's going to have to figure out what he's going to do about that. I'm super curious as to how they're going to get saved from that. I know Ludacris and them aren't actually dead in that airplane up there. But I don't know how they're going to be able to save Dom from that dam blowing up. The shit, it blew already. The dam blew. The water's coming. I don't know how they're going to be able to save him, but I guess I'm just going to have to wait and see, because I literally do not have a clue. This movie is just, it's the craziest shit I've ever seen. And I liked it. I really did enjoy it. It was very funny. It was very fun. Honestly, I actually would recommend it. As a normal movie, I would probably rate it about a 3, right? Like if the MCU gave me something like this, or any other studio or franchise gave me a movie like this, I would give that shit a 3 or a 4. In the Fast and Furious franchise, I'm gonna be honest with you, this shit was probably a strong 9. The only thing that kept it from being a 9 and not a 10 was every time Vin Diesel spoke. If he didn't have any speaking lines in the movie, 10 out of 10. This shit was fantastic. I loved it, and I cannot wait to see the next one. I don't know when it's coming out. Hopefully soon. I don't know. But it was very fun to watch. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad I saw it. But thank you guys so much for watching the movie review. I hope you guys liked it. Hopefully you guys liked the movie too. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a sub, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.